AP Bio Unit 1 Chemistry of Life in only 5 minutes by a broke college student. Let's go. You can find the mass of an atom by the sum of protons and neutrons, but their charges don't matter when finding the mass. There are 2 electrons in an atom's first valence and 8 in any outer valence shells. A molecule is charged when they have a net charge of 0 because they gained or lost at least 1 electron. This example atom has 8 electrons, 8 protons, and 8 neutrons. Its mass is 16 and its atomic number is 8. The 3 kinds of bonds you need to know are a covalent bond, which is when pairs of electrons are shared between 2 atoms, hydrogen bond, which are weak and between the negative and positive regions of 2 molecules, and ionic bond, which is when ions with opposite charges transfer electrons. Covalent bonds are strong while hydrogen bonds are weak. Ionic bonds are the strongest of all. Now on to dihydrogen monoxide, or water for those that never got the joke. Water has 2 hydrogen atoms covalently bonded to 1 oxygen atom because oxygen is more electronegative, resulting in an unequal share of electrons among the molecule, making water highly polar. And polar molecules are hydrophilic, while nonpolar molecules are hydrophobic. Adhesion occurs when 2 different molecules form hydrogen bonds, and cohesion occurs when 2 same molecules form hydrogen bonds, and since water forms stronger than usual hydrogen bonds, it has a high specific heat capacity, high heat of vaporization of water, a very high surface tension, and is the only molecule to be less dense in its solid form. Both cohesion and adhesion allows water to defy gravity and move upwards through what's called a capillary action. You can see the effects of adhesion and cohesion when water droplets are clinging for their lives on objects. Moving on. One molecule is called a monomer, while multiple identical molecules covalently bonded together make polymers. A macromolecule, which is a giant molecule with lots of atoms, and the most important subject in this unit, are usually polymers too. You need to know these 4 kinds: proteins, nucleic acids, carbohydrates, and lipids. Next, the monomer of carbohydrates is a sugar called monosaccharide. 2 bonded monosaccharide sugars is called a disaccharide, and more than that is called a polysaccharide, and can be branched or unbranched. Amino acids are the monomers that make up proteins. Amino acids are defined by their R group, and they have directionality, with an N terminus and a carboxyl terminus at the opposite end. Protein folding is when amino acids build up into 4 levels of structures. The first level is a primary structure, which is a polypeptide chain or sequence of amino acids with peptide bonds between the amino group of one amino acid and the carboxyl group of another. Then the secondary structure, which can either be a beta sheet or an alpha helix and contain polypeptide chains stabilized by hydrogen bonds. The tertiary structure is a 3-dimensional visualization of the secondary structure and has a hydrophobic inside and a hydrophilic outside. The quaternary structure has hydrogen and disulfide bonds between the tertiary structures. The monomers of nucleic acids are nucleotides, and they have a phosphate group, nitrogen base, and 5-carbon sugar. Both DNA and RNA have adenine, guanine, and cytosine, nitrogen bases, but DNA has thymine, while RNA has uracil. And DNA sugar is ribose, while RNase is deoxyribose. And DNA is double-stranded and anti-parallel, going in the 5' to 3' directions, while RNA is single-stranded. Nucleotides form hydrogen bonds with other nucleotides at their nitrogen bases. Adenine makes 2 hydrogen bonds with thymine or uracil, while cytosine makes 3 hydrogen bonds with guanine. Next, the monomers of lipids, which are nonpolar macromolecules, are glycerol and fatty acids. 3 main types of lipids are fats, phospholipids, and steroids. Fats are energy-storing lipids that are made up of glycerol and 3 fatty acids and are referred to as triglycerides. A phospholipid has a polar hydrophilic head consisting of phosphate and glycerol with a nonpolar hydrophobic tail consisting of a saturated and unsaturated fatty acid. Steroids are also lipids with 4 distinct fused hydrocarbon rings, and cholesterol is an important steroid in animal cell plasma membranes in regulating membrane fluidity. Trans fats are artificially saturated fat. There are 2 kinds of fatty acids: saturated, which only have single bonds and thus linear in structure, and unsaturated, which contain double bonds and are not linear in structure. How do molecules bond to each other, you ask? From dehydration synthesis, which is the process of joining molecules with a covalent bond by removing a water molecule. In this process, one molecule gives a hydroxyl group and another molecule a hydrogen. The opposite is hydrolysis, which breaks molecules apart by adding a hydroxyl group to one molecule and a hydrogen to another. That's Unit 1 of AP Biology. If I'm missing something, leave it in the comments so others will know, or you can rewatch if you missed something. And this is my first video ever, so if you found it helpful, please like or subscribe or whatever normal YouTubers say to do. Okay, bye.